Hey there, friends and enemies, JoPaWrites here again, and today I've got a brand new series where I check out the most underrated exotics in Destiny 2 as submitted by you, the community. You can drop these on Twitter, in my Discord, or in the YouTube comments, and let me know what other exotic weapons or armor you'd like me to check out that you feel like are underrated or underutilized. We are starting this off with Cerebus+1. This is an auto rifle that I absolutely love. It is very fun to use close range. It has a bunch of different barrels, so it's got almost like a shotgun package, and you can tighten the spread by using its alternate fire. Now, I will not say that this is underrated personally, but I can see why some people might think so. Getting into the pros and cons, it is very good at close range, as you would expect from a shotgun-like weapon. It excels at cleaning up enemies, especially if you're using the hipfire, because the hipfire is tremendous. It pairs really well with Dune Marchers or other exotics, other abilities that allow you to dive into the enemy, weaken them, and then finish them off with just an easy hipfire. The problem comes with the cons. The range is almost non-existent on this, and so anybody using a hand cannon, another AR, a scout pulse, at any kind of range, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. And we have something of a range meta right now, which can be a little difficult. The other issue currently is that I feel like, personally, sidearms are just a much better option at close range in the current meta, and in general, they do what this weapon does, but just a little bit better. What I mean by that is when you're spraying down with this weapon, it's harder to go from target to target and really shred them like you will with a sidearm or even an SMG. And I feel like those weapons are often better. This one just doesn't pack much of a punch. Now, and this is just based off of PvP. In PvE, this weapon underperforms consistently. It's just not viable in almost any types of content. Sure, you can use it if it's one of your favorites, but it's definitely not a PvE weapon. And that's really why I wish this was a little bit better in PvP, because that's where this weapon is supposed to be solid. It's where people would like to use it, but there's just no room for it in the current meta, and there hasn't been for some time. That's disappointing for me. Like I said, if you like this weapon, if you want to use it in 6v6 PvP, whether it's Iron Banner or Control, you can absolutely do so. You can have some really fun games with it. It can be an absolute blast. The problem is there's just better options, like I mentioned, and that leads to underperformance compared to what you could be doing. Does that mean this weapon is bad? No. I think this weapon is actually pretty good. Solid, but not spectacular. It can get the job done if you make the correct build, but it's not a weapon that can stand alone and really shine in most cases. If you're running across SMGs and sidearms and shotguns, you're going to be outmatched more often than not, and that's really where it becomes a little bit of a bummer. Now, by and large, this weapon is one that I think could use with a buff, but that's a tough balance because the potential is there for this to be broken. If it kills too fast, then it's all anybody will run. You got to have it right in the same TTK range as those sidearms, as the maybe a little bit higher than the SMGs, because the SMGs, like, that's one of the biggest issues that I've had with this weapon is if I'm using an SMG, I can blast people from range far longer away than I can with this weapon. So this weapon should be beating SMGs up close every single time, and that's just not happening. Yes, you can, but it's just not going to be something that is consistent across the board. You're not beating them every time with this weapon, and so it should be just more of a burst fire. I was thinking about this myself. What would I do to make this weapon better? One of the things would be you could even drop down the ammo a little bit and just have it be like a quick burst, almost like a Lord of the Wolves type burst down to enemies. Obviously, primary ammo makes that a little bit of a challenge, but just something that bursts down almost like a sidearm, essentially, like a burst fire shot sidearm or like a full auto sidearm that knocks down enemies at close range really well, but still has the trade-off of not having a lot of range. You can't take people down from distance. So that's just something I would like to see. Maybe some adjustments to this weapon to improve its viability. But again, this is one, like a lot of other exotics in the game, that if you enjoy them, if you have fun with it, it's solid. It's going to do the job for you. You can have a blast with it. I actually use this from time to time just because it's fun for me. It doesn't have to be the meta for me to want to use it. But that doesn't mean I don't wish it was a little bit better, so that way when I am using it, even though I never see anybody else using it against me, it still can compete against them and they go, oh my god, should I be using Cerebus+1? Is there a reason I should check this out? That's not happening right now, and that's where it's a little bit of a bummer. But I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Let me know not only what you think of Cerberus in the comments down below, but also give me some updated exotic weapons and armor that you would love to see from me, and check them out, whether it's in PVE, PVP, anything like that. I do everything in this game, so if there's a place you want me to use this weapon where you think it's underrated, it doesn't get the shine or the love that it deserves to get, let me know, because heading into season 19, I'm very excited about the future and Lightfall, but I'm trying to find things to do that not a lot of other people are doing right now, and this is something that I'm very excited about. Anyway, my name is Jopa. Got a little tongue-tied. Cerberus has me all tied up. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I hope you have a good one, and I'll catch you all later.